just like how we structure things, these are all based around 60-minute sessions. I can get anything done from anywhere from 48 to 52 minutes, depending on kind of what we're doing. We run a multi-group approach, but as you see, this is, again, very simple in terms of the guidelines and how we're opening things up. Our A series, okay, takes anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. Our B series, so I'll go back to A series, it's our primary exercises. We're going to pair our primary exercises, hey, our squats, okay, our bench press, our chin-ups, all that type of stuff, basically the most important exercises within that A series. Our B series is our assistance exercises. Now, I want you guys to think about this as what support our A series, our B series, what supports our A series. So if we're squatting, okay, what's going to assist that squat in terms of maybe balancing things out and harmonizing things in terms of structural balance. And then our C is remedial exercises to remedy. So it's really looking at some of those weak points, that we might have within that exercise, because what we're going to do is utilize those exercises to elicit certain responses in terms of hypertrophy growth, in terms of strength, muscular endurance, whatever we're kind of seeking. Now, I know that's kind of be a little bit complicated, but again, just keep it very general, like what's important, what's going to support that, and then some of these single joint weak point exercises that are going to continue to assist in terms of that overall thought process. Going into our primary exercises, we're looking at 3 to 5 sets. All right, and those sets can kind of go from, we run an undulating periodization model, but this is also can kind of run for a linear in terms of what we're doing. 3 to 5 sets, okay, 1 to 6 reps. I don't really go higher than that. I just feel like a technical breakdown kind of really happens. And then we're looking at anywhere from 70 to 100%. And that's kind of that minimum threshold of strength. That's about as low as I'm going to go for some of these exercises. Like in season, out of season, all those type of things and thought process. Our tempo, okay, we're going to control our tempo. We want to be able to really control ourselves down. And I found that, in my opinion, the best tempo for athletes to properly learn a movement is that slow control 4 countdown. Will be, again, my soapbox moment. Are we trying to get as much weight on the bar as possible, or are we trying to accomplish a task? I think those are those huge important things that we need to ask ourselves as football coaches and strength coaches. Like, what are we actually trying to get out of it? Is it a mentality? Is it an attitude? Or are we actually trying to get a proper response to elicit strength, hypertrophy, all those type of good things that are coming along with it? Into our assistant exercises, okay? We're going to go 2 to 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. All right, this is going to be major, kind of more so into that functional hypertrophy, 74 to 83%. So we're still very loaded. I'm going to do a lot more like emphasis in terms of hypertrophy, in terms of cross-sectional area, and bigger, fuller range of motions. This could change, but I've been here for 4 years, and a lot of the stuff, like, we probably most of the time need to just put on mass and need to just concentrate on expanding our ranges of motion, because it's going to increase our mobility, but it's also going to increase our hypertrophy response, according to research. A lot of our rest is that 60 to 90 seconds. So if we go back to those primaries, okay, we want a little bit longer rest, which is why, again, we go back and we pair our primary exercises with some maybe plyomobility. And then as we go into our assistance, we can kind of take less, because we're going to need, with less of a neural response, as in a dumbbell or as in a hamstring curl, we're not going to need quite as much rest in between those assistance exercises. Going into our remedial, and this is going to be 1 to 2 sets. And the biggest thing for us, and again, you guys can reach out to me afterwards, it all is just going to depend on what time you have. I have 75 minutes. Okay, football is a little bit different. We'll train in the morning. We basically have 45 minutes out on the field and 45 minutes in the weight room. And we are running 2 groups at that time. So whatever, it might adjust, but we're going to base it off of what we do here at Orange Lutheran. Remedial exercises, hey, 1 to 2 sets, 10 to 15 reps, 66 to 74%. So that's more going to just really dictate the load in terms of the percentages. I actually don't prescribe, I want them to kind of really push towards that. So don't get confused by the percentages. Tempo, just that 3 count. The biggest thing is every kid wants to bounce. Every kid wants to lose control. It's just like we would put them out on the field. We don't want them to be out of control. We want them to be able to control motion, really get a good stretch in terms of the musculature, and then continue to work themselves up in terms of our progression, in terms of our overload principles of how can we continue to push that boundaries. And this is going to be a lot of like your single joint stuff, your biceps, your triceps, your external rotators, your scap retractors, calf, abdominals, okay, things of that nature. And I'm going to continue to go into that a little bit later. Okay, continue to move forward. So here's how I would design a training session. And now this is based off of an upper body and lower body split. This is based around 4 days a week. We can kind of get into the weeds in terms of what it looks like in season, but we started off-season training on Monday, and we run a 4-day split. Now I'm going to show you kind of an upper-lower split. I go more full body 4 days a week, and again, I'll get into the weeds of why I do that and where that's become, where that's evolved from as I've kind of taken over high school role. So again, upper body training session, you have your overhead press, chin up, supinated grip, a flat back press, row neutral, triceps, biceps, a lower body example, squat, mobility plyo, split squat, lunge, knee flexion, knee extension, hip flexion. So again, this is general. I'm going to kind of go into depth, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page in terms of just organization and structure. Before I go any further, I just want to make sure the biggest thing is having some templates and having rules and having something easy like this to kind of go on will save you time. It's just like you would build systems as an OC or a DC or something along those lines. It just is, and it becomes very simple in terms of how we're just going to plug and play, what exercises we're going to do, and then driving some of the periodization, whether that's linear or undulating, all those type of things in terms of our thought process of how we're actually taking the off season, approaching the off season, and plug and playing those pieces. Because for most of us, like I just got married this year. I'm sure everybody I'm talking to is married, has kids, has a teaching job, has probably a side hustle. So it's like, how can I help you guys economize your time in terms of the strength and performance aspect? So moving on, my upper body primary exercises. So these are the numbers that I actually track in terms of our weight room, and what I feel in terms of upper body exercises move the needle for our performance. So our overhead press, our incline press, our bench press, dip and incline. Most of the time, if they're a younger guy, I'm going to concentrate on their push-up. And if they're an older guy that's kind of, in their 2nd to 4th year with me, maybe we're going to start moving towards that dip. And then our chin-up variations, whether that's neutral grip, whether that's supinated, neutral grip, or pronated, we're going to kind of work all 3 as we continue to evolve it throughout the school.